Hey, very good morning and good evening, everyone. Welcome back. All right, so here we are going to start with Linux, or we are continuing with the Linux basics. So we'll just continue there until MV command we have discussed in yesterday's session, right? So we'll continue the same thing. So here, files, removing files, copying files, renaming. Until here we have discussed. Now, from these particular commands, whatever we have learned by the way, so now you can just start doing these commands mostly like day-to-day activities. Now, however, you wanted to do the things a little bit better way, like in a way that you want to, like for an example in Windows. Now you can, if you want to copy something by the way, you do right-click copy, right? So that means rather than that, you select that Control C. Okay, Control C is something which can do your job a bit faster. A shortcut can make your work bit faster, correct? So the same way here also in command line also, you have some shortcuts which will help you in making your life easy. So there is some top 10 shortcuts which I have given here. So at least there's some link from the Red Hat, their blog by the way. So but just at least so y- start learning these particular shortcuts, but always keep in mind that there is some shortcuts which is available which can help you. Try to identify that particular shortcut whenever you get some time by the way. So maybe start with 10 these 10 shortcuts. Later you can just read out some more shortcuts. Probably a lot of websites will be available explaining these particular things. Okay, go with that. Now the very important thing, okay, for today's session we would like to start with is a very important one, so which is an editor by the way. Okay, editor is also a little chicken egg problem kind of a thing, that you must and should have a knowledge on the editor. Why? Because let's say if I'm dealing with a configuration of a system, I have to log into that system and modify the configuration. But also there is a process coming into picture. Now the process is actually coming and telling is, hey, you don't log into the system, but whereas you still need to modify the files, but still need to modify the configuration. So that means we need to do some automation. So now you need to know about the editor, because as a beginner by the way, so we may not start with automation on the day one. You should be aware of the editor, but at the same time, so going forward by the way, maybe after a week or so, when the project completes by the way, manual setup of the project completes, we pick up the automation immediately. And when the automation comes into picture, we don't really log into a machine and try to modify the configuration on the system. So always what I do is I will just try to write the code or something like this. So for an example, so and then I'll try to push this particular code to the systems. Okay, so there'll be some pipelines or whatever it is. We are going to run the automation. So that's where now we have two sides to this particular editor. We should know the editor, but at the same time, going forward by the way, so you might not use the editor all the time, which is Linux OS editor, because you always try to push it from the automation. That is the context. So that's where we can't actually ignore this particular one. So we'll just go with the basics ones. We don't want to waste or spend too much time around this, because in the production environments, you never log into a system and modify the configuration. Modify the files by the way. So it's going to be automation. That is 100% sure. No doubt in that. No compromise in that also. But in pretty rare cases, you may log in and do some modifications as well. Maybe for our beginning of our course also, we just need to know that editor, and so we wanted to edit some files or add some content. So how do I do that? So in that particular context only, we are going to go through these particular editors. Okay. So we're not going to, so V editor, it's a very beautiful editor. It has hell lot of options, but I'm not encouraging you to spend your time around that particular options. Okay. Simple, it's an editor. Okay. You do what is the purpose of the editor? You open the file, probably, you do some modifications. Okay, let's say not shortcuts, anything. Let's say you're doing some modifications and you save the file and come out, right? So that much you'll do usually, and that much only we'll learn for now. Okay, and that much is fine. Actually, I'm consciously calling it out. So you have many options. Okay, uh, but by the way, those not be really going to be useful after a week of our training. So everything, like I mentioned, so everything we're going to do it from our local system, and from there only we will try to push, like, so we'll have the code like this, everything written, and I will try to, okay, send it to some centralized place, and I'll try to run that particular code all the time. Okay, so that is what I will do, right? So that is the reason um, we might not really need this too much. Okay, because I'm calling it out, I'm doing it intentionally, by the way, and that is the reason. So there are many editors in the operating system, by the way. So out of that, a VI editor is there, Nano editor is there, Gedit, Emacs, like, so there are a lot of utilities, which is third-party softwares, which can be installed as well. Okay. Now VI editor, out of this, by the way, so many of the operating systems comes with VI as default, and VI is a very powerful editor, and it comes with more and more options. However, we consider, only these options. Later, we'll edit the code more in the editor installed in the desktop, like I mentioned, right? Because in the organization, we work on the local desktop rather than the server directly. We don't develop on servers. Okay, we develop in local system, but we run that particular developed code on the systems. In real time, we don't directly go and modifications on the server directly. We don't do that. And later with automation, we don't do the manual changes on the server directly. Okay, so at all. In lab as well, we'll try to do it as much as what we do in the companies. Okay, so that's why I would like to go with the normal editor. I mean, the editor with limited options, not normal editor, sorry. The editor with limited options. Now, two options only I wanted to talk about here. One is we can edit the file by saving the changes, which is a very important one. And we can edit the file and you come out without saving the changes. Only these two scenarios only I'm going to talk about. Okay. Now, we can edit a file and save the changes. Okay, by the way, and how do you do that? You open the file name. For an example, there is already some file name. So VIM, let's say anaconda ks.cfg. Okay, so you go inside that. So you have a lot of, you open the file. And after that, press insert or I character. Insert button will be there in your keyboard, or you can press alternatively I also, just I. Now I type I, automatically you see this here, insert came into picture. So that means I'm ready to do the modifications. You do the modifications. Okay. So here, let's say I'm adding hello world, something like that. Okay. I added mine and press escape. Okay. I'm pressing escape. The moment I press escape, here the insert is gone. If you have observed, insert is gone. All right. And press colon. Okay. And then WQ, enter, done. So this file has been modified. What we wanted to do is, I used VIM, by the way. So VI or VIM, anything is okay. VIM, just if I open with VI, it is also giving the same thing. And if I open with VIM also, it is coming the same thing. Nothing changes. So just VIM comes with, VIM detects your code, colors it, so something like that. So since this is a CFG file, it is enabling some colors and all. But sometimes some files, it is not able to, okay, detect, something. But whereas VIM can, okay, is a enhanced version of VI, can detect the things. Okay, I don't think so. Here also you will get it any colors. VIM also not giving any colors. VIM generally pick up some sort of enhanced features. One of that is coloring, by the way. Now here VI or VIM is both giving me the same thing on this particular Anaconda KS.cfg, which is fine. So this is the first scenario. So let's do that once again. So the first thing is open the file, okay, with an existing content. Now you do some modifications, something like that. And after that, press insert and do the modifications and press escape. I'm pressing escape and press colon and WQ. press colon, and then WQ, enter. Your changes are done. Okay. But however, if you are creating a new file, for an example, I don't have any content at all. Yes, you can just create a new file. So just let's say hello.py, something like that. Now I will say that insert the print hello. That's it. Okay. So done. Escape colon WQ, enter. That's it. So either if the file is not there, it will create the file. Probably you can start adding the content. If the file is already there, you can add the content to that particular file. But this is the sequence that you need to follow to save the file by doing some modifications. Okay. And let's say we open some file, did some modifications. By the way, I don't want to save the file, whatever the reason it is. I don't want to save the file, by the way. So then you see this, I'm adding some junk, but I don't want to save the things. So escape colon, instead of WQ, you just press Q exclamatory. That's it. Q exclamatory, enter. Okay. So that's how the content has been not changed. So these are the two options I wanted to talk about on the editor, which is interactive editor. So this editor is interactive editor. That means person has to interact with this editor and do that. Whereas there's a non-interactive editor is also there. Okay. So that you will see in the shell scripting, by the way. There's one more editor that will come, SCD editor. Now, generally you can put me a question saying that, hey, Raghu, like, in editor, we do a lot of options, search, maybe like, I want to search and replace. All those things are there in VA editor, but we don't do it here, by the way, because my ultimate goal is automation, because we know that, so our job would require automation is a foundation thing. So we already talked about in the roles and responsibilities, right? Now let's learn something towards to that. And just I'm stopping, okay, with the options, whatever. Uh, I'm just stopping the options, whatever I have here in this editor, by the way. So the syllabus also, like, we are aligning is just basically like, so we get with the automation. So there you'll learn a shell scripting. In the shell scripting, you will learn one more editor called as SCD editor. So which you will find out, so searching the, basically like, so search and replace, remove a line, add a new lines, all those particular scenarios would come through automation. Automation is our ultimate scope. So that's where these two options is what I'm limiting on the VI editor to start. But at least you should know this to go. Right? Any questions? Any questions on VI editor?
Hello, Raghu. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So can anyone change a file and make the save the changes, or do they have to have some certain permissions?
Yeah. In order to modify the file, you require permissions. And at this point of time, and I'm an administrator, I can do anything in the system. The permission section will come. Permission management is there in the upcoming topic. You will see that. What are permissions we have. But at this
Okay.
point of time, I'm an administrator. Root is an administrator, we talked, right? We can do anything in the system. Yeah.
Okay.
Not able to hear you. Rob.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was saying that how we can check like who modified the file last time?
You can't check. You don't have. In Windows, can you check?
No, no. Even though we cannot check.
Yeah. OS, whatever you have in the OS perspective, many of the things is same. Linux is not special in that.
Okay.
Yeah. So just to know this only, there is a version control systems comes into picture. There you will come to know that, who modified what. Yeah, that's where
Mm,
automation makes a key role.
okay.
So there are other ways to track the changes as well, but yeah, so there are methods to do that. But anyhow, let's not talk about that at this point of time.
Hi Raghu, how are you?
Yeah, good. Go ahead.
Raghu, my question is, there is any command to check the file is updated or not?
So you can just check the ls only will help you right now. So ls-l,
Okay.
you can see this majority of the files would be showing you the other date, by the way, maybe February 14, but whereas the modified file which we modified is showing the current timestamp. So that
And
means
what
this
we
is the,
written in the file? So there is any command, what we written in the file?
what do we, sorry?
There is any command, what we written in the file, in the input one? There is any command? Suppose you just write on any, some word, hello word. So how will we check the word? How will we check there is any command?
No, I did not got your question completely. You're saying I added hello
Hmm.
and what with the editor, and
Hmm.
what do you want to check?
The file. What is the content in the file? So how we check?
At this point of time, let's say you already know editor, so you open the file once again, so then you can see that, right?
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So whoever is the new people, so please ensure that you follow this sequence or learn this sequence very well. By the way, it helps you in, executing things much faster. Okay. So moving on. So the next is okay, dealing with the content of a file and also some filters. By the way, we have seen, and editing the file. By the way, if I want to see the content, so I have to open the file now, right? So with V editor, and again I had to execute something colon something. All these particular things is there. Now I just want to know the content. By the way, now let's say I want to see the content. Then how do you do that? Is there is a concatenate command which will help you, cat command. So the cat and anaconda. Let's say if I give the same thing, so it is just going to show me the content of that particular file. Okay, so this is how we are going to get the content. Right, so without opening the file, it displays on the screen. But however, if the file is like, let's say, 1,000 lines, 10,000 lines, your screen will be bombarded by that, right? So it's unnecessary. Now that's where you will also have some other options to start doing the filtering while reading while printing the output of a file. But before to that, so cat-n also is sometimes is a useful option. So if you want to print with a line number, sorry, anaconda -ks, or let's pick up one file in the system, etc password is there. I want to intentionally pick up this particular file because it can help us in simulating some scenarios. But so now you got this file, and sometimes it is actually going to be like, -n. A line number also is a very important feature. Sometimes it comes very handy. Okay, in which line number, this is there, things like that. Okay, cat-n. Okay, so the next is a head command. So head is going to show you this is the head of the file. This is the tail of the file, right? So head, tail. Okay, so that's where it's going to be head and the file name. So head and /etc password to get the top 10 lines. Now let's say I'm looking only top 2 lines. So -n2 if I give, I get only two lines. And the same applies to the tail command. So tail will show you last two lines. And whereas if you give default, it will show you the last 10 lines, head and tail. Okay. Now head tail is going to be showing you top of the line, top of the file, and tail will show you end of the file. But I wanted to get something from the file. Let's say I want to search something from the file. And that's where the grep command comes very handy, a very useful command. So grep, let's say a file, a word from etc password. So it will just show me which are the lines comprising of a word called as root, and you get that lines only. Okay, rather than bothering about all the output, or rather than, so your content may be in the top lines or end lines, I don't know. But I know a word and I wanted to get the what do we say, like, output of that particular word consisting lines, then I'll go with the grep command, by the way. Okay, so that's about the grep command. And finally, one of a very important, useful command, which is awk. It comes very handy in many times. So awk command is going to help us in filtering the output in column based. So now if you carefully observe this, by the way, this is a column based file. Okay. That means this is a field 1, field 2, field 3, field 4, Each and every field is actually separated with colon. And there are some files called as CSV also. Each and every column is delimited with a comma, is called as a comma separated file, correct? If each and every field is separated with comma, so then that's a comma separated file. Or each and every file is actually delimited with a colon now. It's basically like colon separated file right now. And this particular file is having the columns, and I want the columns, by the way. So if you want to go with the column based filtering, so awk command comes very handy. There are other commands as well, but awk command is very powerful. That's where I'm starting with awk only. But so awk, first you have to tell, hey, what is the field separator I have? I'm telling, okay, I'm having colons. Now I should be starting with the single quotes and flower brackets and then print. So I should say that, $1, if I say, is the first column I'll be getting. And from the file, etc password. So now you can see this from the same file, you're getting a columns, right? Let's say if I am having some students.csv file, okay? Let's say John, and he's into DevOps, and Steve, he's into AWS, something like that, a comma separated file. If I have a comma separated file, so then students.csv, you're having it. Now awk, what do you do? So your separator is comma now. So what you're looking for? So print $1. If I'm looking for the name, then students.csv. So I'm getting this. Or if I'm looking for courses, okay. Or if I'm looking for both, by the way, $1, $2. Okay. So anyhow, there's only two columns. It doesn't make sense. So now if you go for this one, by the way, so $1, let's say $3, if I give enter. So now you can see this $1 and then $3, third column also is coming. So this is how you're going to deal with the filtering of the content. Okay. So just to revise, cat is going to show you all the content. Head is going to show you the top lines, and you can customize how many number of lines you want. Tail is going to show you the last lines, and grep is going to search a word and it is going to show you those particular lines. And awk is actually going to show you a column based one. Okay. Now this is, for a beginner, maybe to start with, this is okay. But after some time, you will get little, get into more, you're dealing with the system for more times. continuing with the Linux for more time, then you'll start seeing a little bit more scenarios. Your requirements can be more and more. Then you'll start slowly getting more scenarios. Okay, something like, I wanted to grab a root from etc password, but I wanted to print only the lines which is starting with root. So that's where I'm giving cap root. Now cap has a meaning in the system. What is that meaning? Okay, now you need to study about that as well. All right. So one fine day, you spend some time on this particular video. So explaining this, this is explaining the regular expressions. I have given you some video. So maybe if you have time during the first week itself, you use that. Or else one fine day, so you probably mark it in your backlog. Okay. So then start reading about it one day. All right. Otherwise, this is the things about the filters I wanted to talk about. Any questions on this?
Raghu?
Yeah.
In AWK command, we used capital F, like minus capital F. So what it denotes the minus is
Field separator.
field separated.
Yeah. So start reading anything I mentioned. You want to know the options, go to the internet and type manual. So then you start reading it. So you ask for hyphen capital F, right? So capital F is being mentioned somewhere here. Okay. So here, separate string
Okay.
or
Field.
field separate.
Thank you.
Yeah. Define the input field separator.
Yes. First one.
Any other questions? All right, moving on. So the next one is a very, very important one, which would be your day-to-day job as well. I mean, maybe you for this one, you really no need to go into the Linux box also. I mean, these commands can be installed in your Windows also. Like a lot of people actually installing Linux ecosystem in the Windows, and they're using Linux commands in the Windows even. Okay. So this command comes really handy, by the way. So if I want to talk to any URL and I want to get the response from the command line, okay. So how do I do that? Okay. So this is what is okay the command line browser. So curl command is there. Curl is available to browse the content over the command line. And also, like if you look at the browser, by the way, what are the two operations that a browser will do? One is a one is an operation to browse, by the way, right? So I'm browsing already. I'm opening Killer Coda. I'm browsing already. And that is one option. And the second option is you can download the things as well, correct? You can download. So that's where uh, so that's where so the command line browser, even in Linux, also supports both the things. So one is to browse, and second one is to download the files as well. Okay, it does both the operations. All right. So now if you give curl google.com, so which is actually www.google.com, you get a response. Okay. And the same URL you open on the browser, you also get the same thing, but you're not seeing that. But actually, if you look in, the browser is actually giving a fantastic output. But actually, server did not give this actually. Server did not give this. Your browser is actually reading the content given by the server and is actually displaying like this. But what is the content given by the server? You go to the view page source. Okay. So this is the actual content that www.google.com gave. Now the same thing which is shown by curl, by the way. So curl is not a graphical interface to show you all that. Sorry. So to show you all that. So now here it is a command line interface, and that's where it will show you. Hey, Nadim. Hey, Mo. Hey, what are you trying to do? Moi. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. So the curl command is actually trying to show you the actual content, by the way. So that much is fine. Now, if your content is a readable content, you will read the content. So this is a content readable by the developer because this is a HTML content, right? So this is a readable content. Hey, you're disturbing a lot, Moi. Why are you just continuously raising hand, lowering hand?
Sorry about that. Gonna ask about the curl command, but something
So
happened.
just
Some
wait
weird.
for. I'm always giving the time at the end of that command. I mean, end of the option, right? So why don't you wait till then?
Yes. Welcome. Goodbye.
So the curl command is actually trying to give the content, and this content is readable for a developer, which is I mean, content is actually readable by the developer. He will understand this code ultimately. Okay. Now, if you are actually bringing some text code, let's say as an example, for an example, I can go to this GitHub only something. So maybe if I go into this file also is a readable content, right? I can take the raw content of the actual content of this file. So now if I can take this content, and if I go and give the call of this one, I mean, this is a little English thing. So you'll be able to see the content. Maybe this is also a little formatted and all. That's okay, but at least you're understanding this, right? So like that, it depends upon the URL which is having the content, by the way, but does not really matter. Call is actually, you're going to hit the URL and take the response and print that response on the screen. That's what you will do, by the way. That's all about the call command. Okay. Now, sometimes call will take you to a different locations also. For an example, I think usually we'll see during a payment gateway or something. So maybe you go to Amazon, and from there it will take you temporarily to, let's say you're clicking on payment, temporarily taking you to the bank website, okay, to do the payment, and again come back to the original page, right? So you're being taken to some other place. For an example, if I give call google.com, you don't get the response. What it is telling is, hey, call google.com is moving to www.google.com, it is telling. Okay, www.google.com is what it is telling. Now I wanted to go to that place where this, I mean, browsers usually, the UI browsers will take you there, but however curl will not by default taking you there. If any such scenario would come, like you hit one URL and that is actually taking to some other place which is defined in the google.com side, then what you need to do is you need to accept an option, or with accept that redirect by using an option called as -l. L stands for read, go to the redirected URL. Okay, so enter. So now you're getting the output. So now you're hitting google.com. Google.com is taking you to some other web page. You are told to call, it is taking to the next place. Okay, go ahead. Then you went to that place and you got the content. So this is -l is one of the options that we generally use if it is being taken to some other place. Okay. And also next is if I want to download a file. So now the URL to download the file, and -o, your file name to download. So this is what I'm giving. So by doing this, so it just downloaded that particular file. So you got this particular file. So curl the URL and -o output save to this file name you're telling. I'll remove this file. Now, rather than actually telling my own file name, because in Windows, you will not do that, right? Windows also you can do that. For an example, I would like to download, let's say Node.js, one software is there. Download and install Node.js. So for an example, if I go with this and something, okay. Now, if I click on this, I'll show you. If I click on this, automatically it will download. Okay, you see this? One file name came automatically. I canceled it. This file name automatically came. Or else, alternatively, what you can do? Right click, save link as. So now it gives you the file name. Now you can give node.js.teacher. So now it just downloads in that particular file name, right? So the file name is being stored as like that. So this is the scenario. Okay. And so now curl also, okay, the second, I mean, in the browser, I have right click save as, I chosen my own file name. Or as curl, you can say that, capital O means it will just download whatever is the file it is supposed to download. Okay. So the default behavior. So now you got this one. All right. So this is how we are going to deal with the curl command. Curl has three options we talked about. Curl and the URL, you browse it directly, or else curl will sometimes take you to new URLs as well, even while downloading also. Capital L is an option that we'll always prefer to use. And the next is curl while downloading, by the way, you can give a custom file name, or else you can give a default file name to download, by the way. So custom file name is small o, and the default file name is capital. So these particular options, I'm forgetting to add it here once again. VA editor, we talked about cat with the -n option, which is head tail option with both with the -n options, and grep command, awk command, and now curl, which is -L and capital small o and cap. Okay. Until here. So I mean, I'm just forgetting to add this here. I'll add it, I mean, for your reference, by the way. So I'll add it here just to come back. That's okay. But yeah, this is about curl command. Any questions before proceeding? Or any questions on curl command? Go ahead, Mohi.
So for cat, how many applications can we use it for? Is it only used for one type of thing?
Cat command.
Yes, the cat command.
Cat command is used to see the text file. Yes, content of
So
text file.
it has no other applications, you're saying?
Applications for what, by the way?
And other terminals, like we're doing it with Linux. Can we do it in other things as well? Like I have other, we have command prompt. We have other sort of what do you call it? Operating systems. How do we do cat and other things instead of terminal?
I did not really got your question. Like, why are we talking about other operating systems? We're talking about Linux, right? We're learning Linux.
Right, but my thing here, we're doing Linux, but when I'm in my killer coda, I know that, but it's saying Ubuntu.
Are you not using this, the course which I have given you?
I am in that, yeah, but it's saying Ubuntu for me.
No, you're not using it right, by the way. So just start it very well. It will work. You open my course and it will work as expected.
I'm opening it actually. Hold on.
No, anything out of current topic questions, please don't bring in between. So let's talk at the ending, by the way. We'll have time for that. Any
At the
questions on the
endings?
call come end of the session today?
Okay, all right, then I'll let the other when you guys talk.
And also don't do the things while the sessions goes on, by the way. I already called it out. Maybe I'm not sure you're there or not. So don't do practice while the session goes on, because you'll miss the details.
Okay, all right.
Hey Raghu, can
Yeah.
we upload the files through curl command as well?
Can you upload the files?
Yes.
Upload the files to web server. Yes, ideally, right? It's a web call. Ideally, it should be. It's a browser, right?
We can do that, right, through curl command.
Yes, of course. Not able to hear you. Rahul, not able to hear you. No, still not able to hear you. All right. Moving on.
Like in Windows, does curl give you an option to save the file in a particular folder, or does it always saves it in a default location?
Yeah, you can always save it in the other location, by the way. Right. So you just give the full path of the file, giving to some other directory.
Okay.
That should be fine. So let me show you. So here, if I want to save this particular file, so that means your capital O option is not possible. So you have to go with small o only. That means you are telling customized thing, right? So /tmp/apache.tgz. So then it will be done in ls/tmp ls-l/tmp. So you can see that file there. You can always give the full paths.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone? Any other questions? All right. So the next thing is one more. Sana, go ahead. Not able to hear you. No, not able to. Check your mic settings. All right. And the next one is we are trying to download the file, by the way, but you have observed the file extension is coming into picture, so which is some tar, by the way. Okay. So the Linux native format is tar archives. Okay, or it's basically like, I wouldn't call that as Linux. There is a Unix world in between before to that, right? So the Unix native extension was a tar, by the way. So that means if I want to compress any file, like in your Windows, the native protocol you have for compression is zip file. Zip is from Windows, guys, and whereas this tar is from Unix, and the same Linux has been adopted, and it is from Linux, guys. So now, if we are trying to download the files, most of the files which they offer over the internet, by the way, so to download the files, so it's going to be in some sort of a a compressed format, which is .tar. Okay, or else you'll find out in .zip as well. Okay, depends by the way. So for an example, I was showing you, like, let's say Node.js download, it was giving you some tar format. Otherwise, I will try to take it Apache Tomcat download, something like that. So some well-known software, something like that. If I go in, so they're giving the software in both the files, like .zip file, .tar file. Okay. Now, when you actually so get these files, by the way, how do you extract them? Okay. So that's where I'm going to talk about now. So now here tar.gz, if I go with, so now curl -l -o, you give this. So ls-l. Now you can see this, there are two Tomcats. That's okay. This is the latest one which I downloaded. Now, if I want to extract this, so tar-x for extract. And I'm extracting what? A file, by the way. So what is the file name? This is the file. So tar-x-f is going to extract that into a directory. So this is the all right. So that's what it is. If it is a zip, by the way, rm-rf, rm-rf Apache -9 -tomcat 8. All the files I'm removing. Now let's try to download a zip file. Curl -l-o, give this. Sorry, ls-l. Now you got this one, Apache. So sorry, this is a zip file. Now zip means you'll be using a utility called as unzip, and you're going to give that. So now here again it got extracted into that one. So now your downloaded software may be a tar, then tar-xf. If it is a zip file, then it is unzip is the command that you'll be using. Right? So that's how you will extract the things of the files which you downloaded, if it is a tar or zip file. Mostly you'll find out in these two extensions only. And the tar have a compression methods also. There are multiple methods, does not really matter. It's a tar file means tar is the command, you can use it to do that. Okay, that's how it is. Yeah, any questions?
Hi, Raghu. Yes, when you did the when you used the parameter x and f, you separated the both. So I was wondering, is there any reason, or you can use the both in one?
Now, all the Linux commands, whatever we have discussed so far, let's say ls-l-A, you get it, or else you can combine them, not an issue.
Okay.
All the commands, whatever we have discussed so far, it can combine the options, or you can individually write it. Individually, if you start writing it, I think you'll have little clarity until you get used to that one. That's the only idea. Otherwise, it is fine. Anyway,
Okay.
it is fine. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. So the next is a concept, by the way, a very important concept, so which you will do every day, and a very useful concept as well in Linux. So which is piping, by the way. Okay. So the pipes are going to help you in sending one command output as an input to the another command. Okay. So that's where now let's say cat/etc password. Okay. Now I want to send this particular output. So pipe symbol I'll use. Now grep, let's say root. You can do that. So now cat is actually getting all the content, and inside that I'm searching for root user. All right. So this is how, okay, we are going to use the pipe symbol, and you're not done yet. You can go and send this output to another guy also. So for an example, I'm looking for awk-f colon. I'll say that I wanted to print $1. you got it. And you're not done yet. So maybe I want the first line. So head hyphen N1, you can get that. So it's all depends like, how you want it. I'm just telling like, with pipe, you can always combine the first command output goes to the second command output goes to third command goes out. It just continuously goes on. Okay. So I don't know the limitations, by the way, but I know the limitation, which I tried maybe like 15, 16 years back when I was dealing with Linux, maybe. So very basic operating systems that I had version 2 and all while we were working on. So, I mean, all these enthusiastics, like when I try some 256 pipes or something like that, it was supported but last then. I really don't know later, whatever it is, the features came in, many things came out. Okay, is there any enhancements came in or that itself is too much? I don't know, but there was a limitation, 256 or 254, some pipes you can use at a max, by the way, on the system. That itself is too much. But yeah, overall idea is, so the command one sends the output to command two, and the other command goes to the next command like that. So you can always give the commands as long as you need it, you can send it. But also at the same time, you have to remember that every command doesn't support the pipe symbol. One of the command that we have learned so far doesn't support the, doesn't support the uh, pipe symbol thingy. Our pipe symbol support is rm command. Let's take a file, like let's say ls anaconda ks.cfg, just as an example. And the pipe rm, if I give, okay, and enter, it is telling that, so missing operand. That file is not being, our file is not coming. So you just execute rm command, enter, whatever the error you get it, the same error you're getting. This ls command, what is this ls command is doing? It's not doing anything, it's just listing the file. Let it list the file. This file I wanted to remove, the rm command, it's not taking. Now you will find some handicapped commands like this in the operating system. Okay. So which is not fully developed commands kind of a thing. So that's where like fully support, especially the pipe symbol thing. Now such commands you can deal with or help with another command, by the way, which is xargs. Xargs comes handy there. Now what to whom you're sending the output? Xargs you're sending the output. So xargs will receive this output, and you're giving an input to the xargs command is rm command. So xargs will understand rm is a command, and on the left hand side I'm getting the input. So xargs will internally load both the things, left hand side and right hand side, and what it will execute is rm and the file internally. Okay, that's how now that file is gone. You see that file is gone. Anaconda ks.cfg. For an example, now I'll go with the hello.py. Okay, so ls, that hello.py is gone. So this is how you'll find out some commands which is can't support with pipe symbol. So that's where xargs is another command that comes from the operating system, which will help for this particular kind of scenarios. So this means one thing that you need to understand, pipe is an option to send the command one output to the second command. And when you're receiving from the second command side, you always need to understand that the second command, whatever you're using after pipe, is supported by the pipe symbol. 99% you will find it out most of the commands supporting only. But sometimes you will see them no support as well. So in that cases, xargs also come and help you, by the way. So that's about the pipe symbol. Does it sound clear? Any questions? Not able to hear you, Sarthak. Still not able to hear you. Anyone? Any other questions? All right. So this comes to the end of Linux basics I wanted to talk about, but I mean somehow categorize them as Linux basics, and that means just as a representation purpose, by the way, in Killer Coda. Okay, but I usually wouldn't call that way, in fact. Or there is a concept, so there's also a way that why it is being called that way also. Okay, we can understand that. So the basic commands is the commands so far any user can execute. Now the commands which you executed so far, like you log into the system and any user can execute it. But later commands, whatever we're going to talk about, the Linux administrative commands, we're not going to execute uh, execute by every user. He has to be an administrator, which is a root account to do the things. Okay, so that is where so that is where okay that's where we are going to so talk about the Linux admin commands, especially in the Amazon Web Services, our own server, by the way, because while I want to administrate the things, so here while I wanted to administer the things, by the way, so Killer Coda has a limitations, so it will not help you in dealing with complete administrative topics. So that's where we'll move on for administrative topic. So we'll move on to the AWS. So that's why we asked every one of you to create an AWS account. Okay. All right. So the next is we wanted to go with the Linux administration. So for this, we need AWS account. So I asked every one of you to create your AWS account. So that means there is a URL provided. And even before to that, one small thing. So these commands, I want to keep it here. So please practice, whoever is new at least, please practice these commands very well. Okay. So don't ignore the practice, by the way. Linux, as long as you're good with hands-on with the Linux, your next jobs is much easier. Okay. Yeah. Now here I have given a URL, by the way, to log in. So this is the URL. I'm just opening in incognito window. So it usually comes as a root user. Enter your email address. Okay. I don't know what is my email also. Let me try. This is the email I have for my AWS account. So it is telling skip for now. That's okay. So this is the AWS account. All right. So once you log in, by the way, then it will show you different services that is actually so offered by Amazon, by the way. So there's a hell lot of services on the left hand side top if you go in. So there's a lot of services that will come in, and it will come handy here. Okay. So different people will have different services, like so like for an example, there is something called as machine learning. Okay, machine learning will be done by machine learning people. IoT will be done by IoT developers. Gaming development will be done by the game developers, right? Likewise, some of the services will, as host the web application, we will use it and we'll be going with them. Okay. And one of the fundamental service that we are going to use over here is a compute. And inside the compute, we are going to go for EC2. Okay. EC2 is the basic service that it is. EC2 is the basic service that comes and provides you the servers, by the way. You can go ahead and create the servers. But before going and creating the servers, we need to talk about how Amazon does the business, by the way. So Amazon does the business in providing the services, but they don't not only provide the services in a in a single location. So for like let's say if you go for AWS regions, okay. So AWS regions you have, so you can see this. Now AWS has different regions, by the way. So that means they are going to offer data centers in all the highlighted this one. Okay, in each and every highlighted, maybe that is also a bit old, maybe. So this is the one. So you can see this. So you have a different, okay, so different different data centers they're offering. And the data centers, by the way, so just to organize, they're calling it as a region, which is associating to a geographical location. Now, the question number one, why do we require so Amazon to serve it in different geographical locations? Why don't they sit in one place? If they sit in one place, it is happy path for them, right? So why they really need to go to different geographical locations and serve trying to serve in those particular countries? Okay, so that is comes with two reasons, by the way. First reason is latency. Okay, what is the latency? Now let's say, as an example, okay, let's say from India, so I have a data center or I have a customers in Mumbai, by the way. Mine is a Indian based company. I don't have any business in any other countries, let's say. So I have business in India. Now let's say if Amazon offers everything in one data center, if they go and keep it over there, so now what will happen? What will happen is very simple, by the way. So the latency will increase. That means all the users over here, okay, so the data center over here, so all the way the wire has to go to these thousands of miles and reach there and get the response there. So what will happen because of that? A latency will increase. Latency will increase. So that means applications will be slow. So which no one want that, isn't it? So that is where, what do we do? Like Amazon will come and, so wherever they find business, they will try to come and, offer the services there. This is one version of it. Okay. And this version is very important, by the way, because it makes sense, right? So applications can't be slow. It is much faster. Okay. And that's where even if you, generally understand, a general concept is also there about the length of the wire. Length of the wire matters. In stock exchange, especially. Okay. In countries like US, especially, your stock exchange is on the east side, but there are customers from the west side. Now there are thousands of miles between them, and that means the customers who is sitting on the east side will get faster response from the exchange rather than the person. It can be a millisecond, does not really matter. But no, but both the guys are not actually solving it, are not getting it at the same time. Okay, there may be a 1 millisecond, 5 milliseconds difference, which is okay for many of the people. But for whoever is doing the business at a large scale, that few seconds or few milliseconds itself can cause millions and billions of dollars of something. I just billions is fancy, but at least millions of dollars it can affect. Actually, potential is there. It can or not is a different story, but the potential is there. But the stock exchanges also would be considering, like, why that should, I mean, why that should be come into picture. Okay, so one stock exchange thought about it. Okay, and they went ahead and so they did something about it actually. So what they have done is, what they have done there is stock exchange wire, New York. Okay, there is a guy actually who went with there is a there is a, yeah, this is the one, how to slow down a stock exchange. And what is the reason because of this is they wanted to just serve, this is one of the broker in the stock in the US country. So what they went is, all my customers should get the same response irrespective of in which geographical location they are in. Now what they have done is they have added the latency, by the way, so to everyone, and with some length of wire, there is some mathematics around it, how they have done that and all. So there's a article also, technical article also about it. If anyone is interested, you can go up and read about it. And that is the reason, so usually the area around the stock exchanges are pretty much costly, okay, because everyone want to be near to the stock exchange because the responses will be much faster. Okay, so latency is one aspect that we are looking towards. And the second, another important aspect is governance perspective. That means like, so the countries, okay, so started policies, by the way, data policies, GDPRs, okay. So what is GDPR policy is General Data Protection Regulation, okay, so which is a governance. A lot of countries have their own GDPR's policies, okay. And so what they will tell is my country's data, you should not take it to the outside world, okay. And that means like, if I host the data center in somewhere in the US and all my uploading my content to, okay, so to like other country, okay, so government won't be okay with that. They can sack your licenses, okay. So one of the example is uh, Paytm, right? So I mean, maybe some people is not aware of that. So, but government recently sacked one the the bank itself, by the way. So because of some of the allegations that their data policy is not well. Okay, so that's how you will. That is how you are going to uh, have the policies from the government, by the way. So that's where you have to be very okay. Or Amazon should be deal with the business in the local, by the way. So they can't be running in the centralized place. Okay. Now, two reasons that Amazon actually distributes their data centers in different locations. Now we are going to use one data center for everyone, by the way, in whichever the geographical location you are in does not really matter. For this training, we are going to use only North Virginia. Okay. So there are a couple of reasons for that. So one reason is why I'm telling North Virginia is North Virginia usually will not find out the problem with the hardware, by the way. North Virginia is one of the biggest uh, data centers or region from Amazon, which has huge data centers. They have at least, if I'm not wrong, close to 12 or 11 data centers they are having total. Okay, so which is a big facility. Okay, in the very first place, so they are providing it from there. So that is one reason, like maybe, uh, and why we are interested in that region is because you will not face any issue of hardware not found. Sometimes we'll try to use some cost saving methodologies, and so they're using that cost saving methodologies, by the way. So you end up seeing a scenario that so the hardware is not found, something like that. Okay, you'll understand this later anyhow. So just to get into a scenario that I'll never get a problem of hardware not found kind of a scenario, I'll go with the North Virginia. And since I chosen North Virginia, so some of the lab that I'm going to provide, which is customized thing, which will help you. So that is also we are going to um, that is also I hosted in North Virginia only. So for both the reasons, by the way, we'll be going with North Virginia. So irrespective of any region you're in, so just stick with North Virginia. There's also a third reason for that. So because usually sometimes the people will try to create create the resources in multi regions. They forget about stopping them. Okay, because multi region they try to use. For an example, every time you try to open it, randomly open some regions also. Amazon Web Console randomly open the region. So now you will think that, okay, I lost all the servers. Okay, let me create. But you really forget that, so you have created some other server, some other region. So this scenario also is a very regularly found usually in Amazon. So just to avoid all these confusions, let's stick with only one region, North Virginia, and we'll be going with North Virginia and creating an instance. All right. So this is the EC2 dashboard in Amazon. So let's click on this as EC2. Now you will be having a launch instance option. So click on launch instance. Okay. Now, a couple of things that you need to do, by the way. So first you search for AMI. This is the customized thing I'm talking about. Search for this. Okay. And here, search for DevOps hyphen practice. Okay. Then choose the community AMI. Then choose the community AMI. So here you will get CentOS 8 and RHL 9. We're talking about RHL, right? So we are going to go with RHL 9. So select RHL 9. Okay. So that's it. You don't need to modify anything. One more thing that you need to do is a key pair. Just choose without key pair. This is not needed. Launch instance. and view instances. Maybe I have some other instances also. Please ignore them. It's just yet to create one account for this batch. I forget about it. Maybe tomorrow I'll come up with a fresh account. None will be there in that account. Okay. So now I need to connect to this particular server. As simple as that. So this is how you create a server. 3 options only. Let's try to document them. I'll keep it here. So how are we going to create? The open URL. So what is the URL that you're going to open is creating the server. This is the URL. Just open directly that URL. Click on launch instance. So how do you do that? So here on the top you have okay. So after clicking on instance, this is the one. Okay, it will come. So I click on launch instance. Right. After that, okay, this is the page. And in this particular page, so click on browse AMIs. Okay, after click on browse AMIs, then search for DevOps hyphen practice. Okay, so type this and enter. So type this and hit enter. The next is the first one. And the second one is going to be is choose community AMIs. And the third one, choose RHEL 9. And the next two words to that is after choosing this, come down. So one more thing. Choose without key pair. launch instance. That's it. So click on in launch instance, and after that you just enter the browse AMIs, and so type this and hit enter. Choose community AMI, so choose RHL9, and after that choose without key pair and just launch instance, and your instance will be launched. Okay. And once instance is launched, by the way, so we need to connect to that particular instance. Okay. To connect to the instance, so now we need to connect to instance. So if you are a Mac OS guys, use inbuilt terminal. Inbuilt, there is a terminal which is available. You can use that. Okay. How you use that, I'll tell that. So Windows guys, download putty. Okay. So download putty. So here you have putty download. I'll share you that. This one. And I will go for download putty. So just choose this one. This is the URL. Okay, download the putty. So once you download the putty, so it just goes into as just a small exe file into your downloads, by the way. Okay, now go to the downloads and open this file. After opening this file, okay, so what you need to do is you just need to copy the IP address of the instance. So take the public IP. Take public IP address. Okay. So copy public IP address. Okay. And so then Mac OS guys. Okay. So open terminal and type SSH ec2-user at the rate of this one, at the rate of this IP address. Public IP. You will get your own public IP. So you just need to use that. And after you get that, okay, so then it will prompt for yes or no. Okay, so then type yes and then enter password. What is the password? DevOps 321. Okay. So this is what you need to do. So for macOS guys, whoever is macOS guys, so now let me show you. So I have a terminal. So yeah, SSH, or let me, rather than my macOS terminal, so maybe let me just show you from the killer code. Why is because my laptop, my macOS is a little bit customized. Yeah. So here, if I go in, I can show you this also. This is also something like a terminal only, but don't use this. I'm just showing so SSH ec2-user at the rate of this IP address. It will ask for yes or no, type yes, and it will ask for password DevOps 321, capital D, capital O. Okay, then it will bring you to that. So this is what it is. Don't bother about this. Okay, so same prompt you get it even for Mac OS guys. Okay. Now for Windows guys. Okay, so what you need to do? Open putty, enter IP address. Okay, so you will be prompted to accept, do that, then enter username as ec2-user and enter password, which is DevOps 321. Maybe I'll not be able to simulate because mine is not a Windows, but just putty. If I go for images, when you open putty, it will come like this. Okay, enter that IP address. Same like that, enter that IP address. Okay, then what next? It will prompt for yes or no kind of accept. Putty SSH SSH. What is that? Prompt something it will do. It will just come with one pop-up. I don't know, just signature. Something like this it will come, but this is a very old version, I think. Now, rather than yes, by the way, it will come as accept. Okay. Security alert, something like that. This is coming like this. Copy image. So choose accept. And then the username and password. It's very simple. It will ask you for it will ask for username, password. Something like this, but not exactly again. Okay. So just to understand, yeah, here is the one. Some screenshot. Okay, all you need to do is just enter when it asks for username, enter EC2-user, and it asks for password, capital D, capital O, DevOps 321, you enter, and you will log in. You'll be able to log into the system. So this much you do, and in the next session, we'll continue with the remaining thing. So let me comment this code for your reference. And click on this. So you'll have all the information, by the way. Maybe yeah, that much is okay. Okay. Cool. And also you'll be onboarded, we'll be send you some information about the lab session today. And if anyone faces any challenges in between, so please just join in that mentioned timings and clear out, you have any problem on creating the server and accessing it. So just clear it out there. Yeah. And also I'm done with my, so the server part, by the way, I don't need this server anymore. I will just simply go and terminate the instance. You see this? Terminate. So that means I don't need this instance anymore because just keeping the instance out there to come with some sort of billing, by the way, so which we don't want to do that. So please clean up your instances unless until I tell, it is needed. So please stop them. So you can see this, some of the instances I stopped, but I'm still paying some bill for this. Okay. So until we need it, we don't actually keep it every day. Let's terminate them. Not an issue. Okay. So that's all from my side for today. Any questions? Go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, Mani.
Yeah, good morning, Raghu. Actually, this is Minkanta from Hyderabad. So I'm a Linux administrator with 4 years of experience in my career. So I'm recently switched to a company. So they're offering DevOps in their role. So unfortunately, joining the Butler organization, they are using only Jenkins for the push the code to the servers. They are not able to using any tool, just simply use the code. I mean, Jenkins to pull the code from the developer to the servers. So this basically not a DevOps engineer role, but they are putting a name to the particular department as a DevOps engineer. So after joining the particular organization, I realized because there is only less servers in the 30 to 40 servers in the particular organization, and they are not able to do the Linux tasks also. So it's already stable servers. So after joining the particular organization, I have to realize my knowledge also decreased last few months because there is no need to work to do there. So that's why I'm choosing this course particular because the role is advantage to me. So when I was switching to the next year, I have to plan to switch the company. In that time, if I'm following you and I'm doing the task, what are you saying in the course? I have to able to get the knowledge at least 1 year of experience in is a DevOps engineer.
Yeah, you'll easily get, no worries.
Yeah, that is the main problem. I'm very worried about last 2 months. Actually, I have to try to join at the Seva course, but it's not unfortunately it's very late at that. So I have to join your course. I'm able to get the communication like how to tell in the English. Uh, can I catch the particular your accent? Actually, still now I'm okay for your communication. Actually, I'm very happy for that. In future also, you are using this type of technology.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, Taco. Thank you so much. That's your question. And I mean, I have one more question also. So I'm a Linux administrator. Administrator. I have to actually I'm taught I have to convert to the AWS AWS engineer, and then I have to convert to the DevOps engineer. But unfortunately, I have to got an opportunity like role of DevOps engineer. So is it okay with the direct Linux to the AWS? I mean DevOps, and you have to teach the AWS also, but after the complete this course, I have to assume like a AWS admin also. So you have to teach all the services in AWS, or you have to teach some of the services, and not all the services, but we can manage the AWS admin like some of the services. So it is enough for the particular services.
Yeah, since you're a Linux admin, you're thinking that AWS also I'll go and do the admin by the way, but on AWS,
Yeah.
but on AWS, okay, we'll do engineering job. Administrator
Yeah.
is something like someone will always tell something and someone will go and do something. That is an administrator job. Your scope is limited. But whereas you come to the cloud world, you do engineering job. That means right from design, understanding the requirement, you choose the, you choose the approach and you implement everything you do. You do engineering job. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Right.
Hi, Raghu.
Yeah.
So I was able to create EC2 instance as you were just demonstrating, and the user EC2 user looks like it does not have root privilege. So is there a way to know the root password?
Root passwords won't be there in the companies, by the way, shared to you, that to the users. Okay. So we are just trying to simulate more to the real-time world. So that's where, but there is a method to assure the root thing. So it will come in mostly tomorrow or day after tomorrow. It will come naturally.
Okay.
So we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Hi Raghu.
Yeah.
Look, what is the difference between your customized AMI and the normal AMI? You have, I think, installed some sort of software related to DevOps.
Not really. So you will see some sort of package manager that which we have built for our purpose. Okay. So for this particular training, that will help you in, installing the things much faster, by the way. Now, let's say you want to install Jenkins. So you know the steps, by the way. Anyhow, it's going to be repetitive because you're doing a training, right? So at least people, what we end of the training will suggest is you do 2, 3 iterations completely. Okay. So terminate it, create it, practice, right? So in that exercises, by the way, so we are going to have some image which is going to help us in so installing all those particular things is much efficient way, faster way. That's it. That's the only
So
thing.
moving
Uh,
forward, sorry, sorry.
yeah, and also there is another thing as well. Now let's say you face a problem. Okay. So then saying that, in this server I have this so and so problem. So immediately we can log into your server, and since the username and password is same, I can easily log into the server and solve your problem and tell your problem. I mean, what is the wrong you're doing, much faster way. Yeah, these two things for that reason we're taking.
And
But apart from
moving forward, we will create our own AMI. We will install on the all server softwares which is required for DevOps, right?
yeah,
Okay, and the whatever password you put in that is the AMI based, right?
in our
Because
case it is AMI based. In company it will be your username and password. Assume
yeah,
username EC2 user is Rahul, and the
yeah,
password you entered is your password. It's as simple as that. Everything
like
remains same.
if I create a normal instance, so for that the password would not required in that case. I just put
Pa-
the like EC2 and then just go on, right?
no, your
Like
username password will be there to log into the
no,
systems.
if let's say I have created a account on AWS and if I create a Ubuntu AMI, sorry, instance. So if it is up, then I can log in with the public IP, and just I need to put the some Ubuntu and the Ubuntu username, and that's it. And also I need to put the param file.
That's what I'm telling. So you're just not talking
Okay.
about the industry standards, right? See, first of all, you're talking about PEM file. Did you anytime installed any Linux box by any chance? Installed Linux OS?
No.
Okay, let's take Windows. In Windows, are you using username password or any sort of keys you are using?
Mm-hmm.
What you are using?
Sorry, could you repeat? I missed.
So when you're logging to your Windows system laptop, by the way, company gave you a laptop. Let's say,
Mm-hmm.
hoping
Mm-hmm.
you're working at.
Mm-hmm.
Now in the company in the company laptop, will you enter your password or some sort of keys you enter?
So in company laptop, I just use my SSO IDs to log in on the servers.
SSO, that is username password.
Yes, correct.
Then why why are you differing the
No,
same
no,
concept in here?
no. I was confused because when I use for practice in AWS, I use the param files. Maybe in that case, in the
Because
param files.
they didn't told you the real time scenario. You're already there in the real time. You did the same question you would ask them, by the way, not me. Because we both are aligned, right? In company you're telling you're using single sign-on credentials to the login to the server, correct?
Yeah.
Here also I'm telling, yes, you log into these servers. Like let's say this is a lab, we don't have a single sign-on configured, but let's say single sign-on configured, you will use username password. We are straightforward on. We both are
Mm,
aligned. Now whoever has teached you that, or wherever you have learned from somewhere, by the way, which is a PEM file, they are the deviating guys. This question to go to them actually, not to me. We both are fine. We are both are in the real world only. So they are in the lab world. Okay.
mm,
So let's stick to this. This is the right approach. Username passwords is the one that we use in the organization. It's a single sign-on username, right from your laptop. Whatever the password you enter, right to the applications, right to the servers, everywhere it is going to be a single username and password only. That's the company's ideal approach, and we'll do the same thing.
okay.
All right. Satak, I think your mic is still. Chandrika, go ahead and unmute.
Raghu, actually, I came from non-IT background. Now I am switching to IT background. So this, whatever you speaking with the terminology for me, it is a completely new. But from last 3 days, I observed some kind of what can I say? It is tough to me. So, but today it is completely too fast. You are whatever you given the training today. So can you please go ahead some kind of slow, because whatever you did today, AWS uh, account and putty installing, these all are confusing to me how to do all the things in within 5 minutes you have done these two applications, like, because
That is okay. You are going to get the recording. You have to practice really well, by the way. So if you are lagging, you have to go with a tuition. That's it. That's what you do in school, right? Now, let's say you're lagging in the subject in the school. What do? You do tuition. That means you're spending extra time, correct?
yes, yes, yes.
So here also you have to spend extra time to understand the things. So you have to watch it, have to study about it. Okay, let's say you heard a new word. Now what is it? Start reading about it from the internet. So that way you have to spend more time. No other option.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. And anything, any sort of confusion question. So from today, like I mentioned, so we are going to onboard you to lab sessions. You come there and you ask again. They'll try to explain. Okay, so that is okay. Okay, but as long as you are continuing moving forward, it is fine. Like I mean, the same English you spoke, by the way, maybe in I mean by born you did not got it right. After a lot of practice of English speaking, only you'll able to speak. Correct?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So that also comes like with the practice. This also will move on. There's no problem.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
So good morning. So could you share the killer code and how to create AWS account?
There is a URLs given in this particular page. I'm pinging on the chat once again. They're not.
Yeah, sure, sir.
So
Definitely.
this has all the information.
Sure. Thank you, sir. I have a small question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So first time I came like IT, I will join that. So like how to improve communication skills, sir?
Just practice only. Like you speak, that's it. Speak to
Yeah,
many people as
like you,
much as
sir,
possible.
base wise. So whenever like speak with the other person, so I'm getting a little bit fear. So like if in case I will enter the like IT sector now, so
That's fine actually. I think you're speaking well only. That's fine. So that fearness will go away because I mean when you have knowledge with you, you can
sir,
casually talk. Now you have English knowledge, you're talking casually, right?
yes, sir.
Now today's session I talks casually only. It's because
Mhm.
it's casual thing for me, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So technology also will become casual to you and as long as while you're moving with the
Sir. How to overcome fear, sir, and hesitation like this.
hey, just everything. Like let's say hesitation. Now let's say you're a very powerful guy. Okay. Now
Sir.
you're talking.
Sir.
I mean, let's say you're a very powerful guy, or let's say you're an adult. By the way, talking to a kid, will you fear? No. But you're a kid. You're talking to adult. You will be a fear. Correct.
Sir.
So the same thing, like so as long as you grow, I mean, you increase the knowledge. By the way, there is the fear won't come. By the way, comfort will come. No. But
Sir. Sir. And me, last question, sir. If in case like join the company, sir. So in case we will discuss with the colleagues and the uh, like native person, so we'll learn like advanced level English. Is it okay like normal English?
hey, you're talking all these things to the wrong person, but still it should be fine. Like, I mean, I don't know advanced English. I never went down to the advanced English, by the way.
Sir,
Uh,
your English
like
was amazing, so that's why I'm asking. I'm
uh,
in very low level English, and like so that's why
I,
I'm
I
asking.
I don't use any I mean so complex words actually in the training because I have taken a philosophy in the very starting of the training itself
Online
from
test you can take.
from Abdul Kalam, by the way. So I have taken a philosophy from him. If you have seen any of the Abdul Kalam's speech, by the way, he will never uses any kind of a Englishish words. He just try to communicate to the other people. That's it. And somehow I have taken that particular philosophy, and I'm able to talk that way only. So if you generally talk to, I mean, generally like so if you go to some people who has done this English courses, right? So I mean, who goes to abroad and all, there are I mean certain courses. So who does that? Actually, they talk fantastic English, by the way. Okay, better than me, no doubt in that. But I am stuck with this because I took that philosophy, and that's fine as long as you're able to convey the message in a, however the way, whether it's basic English or advanced or whatever it is, it should be fine. That's okay. I'll move on. So just other people are waiting. Okay.
Thank you
So
so much, sir.
anything we'll
Thank you.
we'll talk offline on this
No
lab
problem.
sessions.
Sure. Thanks a lot, sir.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yes, Mohit.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, so first thing to talk about real quickly was what Pragant said, that if you want to get good at English, there's online classes you can take. My English is great. I was born and raised in America, so I did English, a little bit of French too. Seems like you're an introvert, so I would do some online classes. You could take that. You could ask for advice. Yeah, but that's one way you could learn how to have better English skills, actually. And the next thing I was going to actually ask about was in regards to the AWS account. I signed up for it. I found a way to bypass it to the EC2 thing. However, it's also asking for some kind of payment. So do we have to pay for the whole account, or is it free?
Yes. No, you have to pay. On an average per month, you should be paying at least $30 per month to Amazon for
Okay.
the usage we make.
Okay, so there's no way to get out of that $30.
No.
Is that the same thing with Azure and all the other services we're going to be learning too? We have to all pay for everything?
Yeah, everyone is not so, so generous to give you everything for free. So there's always a clauses, by the way. So though they say there's some credits they will provide, that comes with limitations. Yes, the answer is yes.
Oh, okay, then all right, then that's good. But yeah, that's all I have to say. I gave some good advice to him as well. But thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, we're getting recording, sir.
So
Any
what is the
link?
link? What is the link you are using to join the session? So in that link only you'll find it out. If you ping me that link on the chat, I'll let you.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
Sadak, you're on mute. Sairam, I don't see the URL you pinged on the chat. Can you do it? All right. So thanks everyone. So see you tomorrow. So just get your accounts ready. And if you have any, if you have any issues with the, the AWS account and all, so we'll send you some lab session link. So just use that and, get yourself sorted, by the way, because that account is mandatory for going us for the forward, by the way, for the topics. So thank you everyone. See you tomorrow then. Bye. Good day. Good night.